paradise won't change your mind. Can't shape the lights. I'll take the chance and roll the dice.
All right, Patrick, are we back on the right path?
I think we are.
So we can tell
We're at least headed to the right.
Oh, well, of course we're headed to the right. There was no left option. All right, Patrick, if we're on the right path, I think it's finally time. What's your beef with the Paladins?
Paladins? I have a, well...
Well, you had opinions.
I do have opinions.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really about Paladins specifically, but I have been yearning for the days of... Ooh, Big Soul. Remember Book of Nine Swords and Path of War and stuff like that?
2 ambushes on 1 map.
Woo!
Nice.
I got a thing.
That you can't carry.
Oh, well, I guess that doesn't matter.
Yes, I do remember Book of Nine Swords and Path of War.
So I've been trying to think of ways of just putting, if not specifically that into 5th Ed, then something that feels very much like it into 5th Ed. And I kinda sorta have some ideas that look like they might work if you look at them funny.
If you squint.
Yeah. Ah, jeez! Grease lightning! Okay.
You are dead now.
It's just dead.
Okay.
But yeah, the idea, because I think people resisted Book of Nine Swords and because it was just, here's 3 classes that are 100% better than the fighter, the monk, and the paladin in every way.
Well, to
have fun.
Fair,
granted,
everything was better than the fighter, monk, and paladin.
Right, but half of the resistance was, no, they should be balanced, and the other half was like, no, these should be the whipping boys. We need classes to be shit. Thanks, Monty Cook. But
yeah, fighter really should be relegated to an NPC class.
Some of them, as they stand, yeah, they just. Oof. But
oh, the castle's burning.
That's probably bad for business. That was fast.
Yeah, nice. It's amazing what a couple levels does.
Yeah. So, 5th Ed Fighter has that whole Battle Master archetype thing, and they get maneuver dice, and, you know, the concept of maneuver dice is interesting. Their execution is kinda lackluster, but the idea is there. And I was just thinking, how can I leverage this into something that's just... You're in a fight. What do? Well, D&D is kind of a game about fighting. There's no 2 ways about it. It was born out of a war game, and it's always been and gonna be a game about fighting. So... every class is, you know, based around, this is how this class... does in a fight.
How do you do your fights?
How do you fight? Which leg do you kick with? Which doesn't actually mean which religion are you, because they're not Scottish necessarily. But just...
But if they are Scottish, then
then you're screwed. But... So, having a class named Fighter kind of implies that, okay, if you want to be good at fighting, you play a fighter. Everybody else... kind of by virtue of not being a fighter, I guess, sucks at it? But that's not supposed to be the case, and clearly isn't, because wizards are fricking gods. Less so in this edition than they were before, but still, it's just, if you want to be good at things, hope you brought your magic spells, because if you didn't, well, hope the DM says it's okay for you to be good. Which isn't always that fun. So I was thinking, alright, instead of having classes that are all like, okay, these classes get to be good in fights because they get the fancy maneuvers that let them be good in fights, why not extend that to everybody? Like, everybody gets maneuvers because that's how fights go. You have fighting styles in fights because you're all good at fighting, and that's what adventurers do. They fight. But fighters get to be the best and most versatile at it, and everybody else is just kind of, yeah, I specialize in this, but I also have spells and smites and skills and songs or whatever to back up my fighting. Yeah. Well, the fighter is just like, I'm really good at this. Like, really, really good at this. Scientifically so.
Science of fighting.
So you've seen the multi-classing charts in 5th Ed, right? Where it's just like, oh, if you're playing a wizard cleric, here's how your spell slots work. Right?
No, I haven't, because I'll be honest, we are playing in a 5th Ed game, but like that's the extent of my interest in 5th Ed.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
To be fair, we were playing in one 5th Ed game, and that's all the 5th Ed exposure I've had. So it's not like, and I haven't invested any money in it, and I'm not playing in 3 or 4 games a week anymore. So
yeah, I miss those days.
So I don't go out of my way to,
think of house rules like I do.
Yeah.
Well, since I do actually go out of my way to think up house rules, I'm going to keep talking about my house rules.
I mean, it's what you do.
And since I have a captured audience here, you may as well listen.
Oh, you've got a capture card audience.
But yeah, so if you're playing a wizard and you're all like, I want to be a cleric too, you don't have like, well, I have the spells of a 7th level wizard and the spells of an 9th level cleric or whatever, and just kind of mix the two. It's just, no. You are a level X, 8 plus 7. You're a level 17 character. You have the spell slots of a level 17 spellcaster, because that's just how multiclassing with spellcasting is going to work now.
That's
if you're leveled up in full casting classes, then you just kind of add them together, and that determines how many spells per day, spells, slots, etc. you get. It's a lot simpler, and it codifies everything. And it occurred to me while I was trying to think of how can I make everybody have fun at fighting, and the fighter be all like, no, I want to have the most fun at fighting. I want fighting to be the thing that I do, and still be fun.
Would you make the fighter a full fighting class?
That was exactly what I thought of.
Oh,
It's just like, okay.
And what, like the paladin and the ranger?
The paladin and the ranger are half fighters, and so is the swords bard, the valor bard. Anybody who gets like the extra attack feature, they're half fighters.
So like the monk is a half fighter.
Yeah.
In addition to all their monkey stuff.
Exactly. And then, by process of elimination, classes like the Eldritch Knight and the Arcane Trickster, with them being considered 1/3 casters.
Are they 1/3 fighter?
No, yeah, wizards, clerics, and non-fighty bards are 1/3 fighters.
Where's that? Where do you leave rogues in there?
Rogues, I make a special consideration for them being half fighters because they really ought to be able to attack more, but they just don't.
No, they just make their one attack super strong.
Yeah, which, is kind of like fighting.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
We'll allow it.
Yeah. Because, maneuvers kind of open up the door to, I get to be a super awesome ninja-like character because, and so, well, that's kind of what the rogue is for, being a super skillful ninja who just kind of attacks from out of nowhere.
Oh, you know what you could definitely do, since we're playing this, what you could do, there could be a fighter archetype that gains all its super special stuff based on what weapon it's wielding.
That's not outside of the realm of possibility.
To bring back the sort of sword mage archetype that used to be a class in 4th edition. You had the...
I remember the sword mage insofar as... I don't remember any particular magic classes being like, oh, you're wielding a sword? Then you get these powers. Oh, you're wielding a hammer? Have these powers. Well, there was something kind of like that. in the misguided D&D Essentials line with the Assassin as the standalone class, where it wasn't so much, here, have different powers or powers that work different based on what weapon you're wielding. It's just, here, have a bunch of powers that are dependent on you having all this different stuff. And if you're ever stripped of this stuff, which your DM can do pretty much whenever the hell he wants, you can't do anything anymore. It was a terribly designed class. But the sword mage was just, I have a sword and I have magic, vaguely.
Because I have a sword.
Yeah. So that means I'm going to mark these enemies with a shield, and if they attack someone who's not me, I'm going to make them hit less hard, or I'm going to teleport next to them and smack them for being jerks.
Yeah, the mark system was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, because you can't really do threat and tanking in a tabletop game as well as you can in a tabletop game where the monsters are directly controlled by a thinking person.
Yeah. Without, rules for their behavior, it's just kind of up in the air as to, all right, why would this character ever do that? And that was my biggest problem, because the idea of playing a defender character in 4th Ed was stupid cool. You got to just punish enemies for daring to hurt your friends. But in actual practice, okay, you marked this guy. He's never going to attack anyone but you now. Way to be a tank.
Well, I mean, that is kind of what tanking is, but it meant that you didn't get to use half your abilities.
Right.
Because you were just like, yay.
And that was mostly where your damage was going to come from in a fight, was punishing enemies who did things you didn't want them to do. But since they never did things you didn't want them to do, you didn't get to do shit except soak up damage. Damage. That's a lot of damage.
I'm gonna soak up so much damage. You're not gonna know what hit ya. Oh wait, it's not me.
I feel like I'm talking to a weird caricature of JonTron all of a sudden, and I'm not sure why you decided to do that just then.
I don't.
Yeah,
Reasons.
Lucy, you got a lot of splaining to do.
Bye, Ricky. I remember Nick at Night.
I do too. Ow. I remember when they had good TV shows on, like Get Smart. Ow. Please no bully.
Don't bully the ninja. I'm talking to both of you.
I'm just a small ninja boy. Spelled the internet way. You all know how it's spelled now. And you hate yourself for it, don't you?
He's just a ninja.
Oh, that's his back. I swear I saw bark.
Bark. Well, we are invading the temple of a fallen, or the castle.
Yeah, the castle of the dog god.
Yeah, a fallen dog god. So I mean, maybe it's actually saying Bork.
Bork.
Bork, Bork.
We need to head Bork. Ow.
Damn it,
Sword
Jim.
mana is low.
I'm a good boy, not a...
Damn it, Jim, I'm a good boy, not a doctor. Now put that thing away. Damn it, Jim, this isn't the OK Corral. Now put that thing away. Toad oil.
I don't know. We'll see you next time. We're gonna go Bork.
Bork.
We're going Bork to the future.
Bork.
I live it out loud.